How often does it feel like you never really went to bed? Maybe it feels more like you took a nap than you actually went to bed, put an end or a period to the day before, and you wake up refreshed, ready to step into the new day. I'd be curious, and if you could share in the comments or share some thoughts on that. For me, sometimes, and I happen to be working with a client who shared a similar feeling, it feels more like we're taking a nap. We go to bed and wake back up with the same thoughts on our mind, the same to-do list, still frustrated about the same things. We don't get that clean break into a new day. It just feels like each day just keeps rolling into the next. And that's what we're going to talk about today. And we're going to go a little bit more in depth. So, one of the things that the title of this was You're Surviving, and you don't have to stay in that mode. So, what can we do about that? Well, we're going to start taking a look at that and see, and just even help you to identify if this is where you are living. Are you living in survival mode? There's a lot of us who are there, and we don't necessarily step back and identify it. It's just life. So, I'm Lindsay Pfister-Kerr. I am the founder owner of LPK Coaching. I work with a lot of high achieving people who are very accomplished, who keep it all together, who are taking care of things and getting things done at work, at home. And the challenge is on the outside, they look fine. Everyone thinks they got it. No one thinks they have any concerns or there's any stress. But on the inside, there's a lot going on. They're depleted. They feel like they're just keeping their head above water. They feel like they're just surviving. And it might bring up the question, does it feel like you're living your life right now or just managing it? And managing it maybe even from a distance, because if you fully step into it, the exhaustion, the full weight of everything feels like you could buckle at any time. So I want you to think about this question. And please feel, I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments. This is why I like the live, but that's okay. Please share your thoughts in the comments. So, right now, how are you actually feeling? Do you feel like you get a break from the day before, or do you feel like you're carrying everything from that day into this day and this day into the next day? And does the outside really match the inside? Is the collected, pulled together, I'm fine on the outside. Really? Is that really accurate? Or on the inside, you might be feeling how I used to feel, which is please don't let that tiny little crack that's maybe hiding in my hairline widen and everyone see what's really going on the inside. As I'm saying this, it kind of makes me think of that um, old idea about ducks swimming across water. When we watch ducks, it looks like they're gliding and they're moving slowly and with such precision across the top of the water. But if we go under the water, their feet are treading like crazy just to try to keep them up. And I'm curious if that is how you're feeling at this time. And if it is, you don't have to admit it out loud. The whole world doesn't need to know that's how you're feeling unless you want to share it. But it's a feeling many of us are holding real tight, real close to us. And as high achievers, as people who are in positions at home, at work, the ones holding it all together, we are that doc, and we don't want anyone to see that because we don't know what will happen if they do. What will they think of me? In the book I wrote last year, From Perfectionist to Empowered, I shared that during the pandemic, that I had to share with the people I worked with that I struggled with anxiety. No one knew. I even had a colleague look at me, and I've shared this before, and looked at me and said, "You don't struggle with anxiety. You look fine." And I used to laugh and say, "Oh, good out here. Hot mess on the inside." And the thought of having to share that I was struggling with anything, whether it's you're struggling with anxiety, whether you're just struggling to keep things going, you're exhausted and don't want to admit it. When that happens, we worry about what other people might think because we've got two things going on here. We've built a pattern that's made us who we are and gotten us to where we are. But we've also developed a pattern that we don't want anyone to figure out that we're just trying to keep it together, but it's taking its toll. And it also got us to where we are. It got us those promotions, that respect, being the go-to person. It's helped us do that. So for us that are doing that, we may not call it out. It may be our thoughts may be, I just have to fix this. I just have to get through this season. I just have to. I just have to. I just need to. Whatever, and you can fill in the blanks on all those. But when we start to really take a step back, we don't need to fix something just yet. We need to really identify what it is we're experiencing and call it out and be honest with ourselves. So let me ask you a couple of things. If you take a look at what life looks like on the outside and what everyone else is seeing and what you're feeling on the inside, and we're going to focus on the inside for right this second. Just want you to ask yourself a few questions. If it's uncomfortable to connect with, it's okay. Just listen. Maybe eventually you'll be open to it. But if I want you to think about if any of these resonate with you. Do any of these really connect? So I'm going to go back to the first one I shared. How many times do you go to bed? And even though maybe you went to bed at 11 o'clock and you woke up at 6, it feels like you took a nap. Doesn't feel like you really went to sleep. Doesn't feel like yesterday ended. It was like that. You woke up, you're right back into it before your feet even hit the floor. You're thinking about all the things that didn't get done, all the things you need to get done, all the things you don't want to deal with, all the frustrations from yesterday, all the things that made you angry, and you're right back into feeling that way. Think about that. You get through your whole to-do list. You get through that season. You get through whatever it is, and it still feels like nothing is done. You still feel like, even if you checked everything off the list, it still feels like the list didn't go away. Even though you finished the project that was draining your time, even though the soccer season ended, or whatever it is you're going through, that family member finally recovers, but it doesn't feel like you've actually, nothing feels relieved, nothing feels finished, nothing, it just feels like it just keeps going because the next thing fills back in. What about this one? Saying yes before you know if you want to. You're automatic. You don't even know what they're asking for. Your texts go off and it says, hey, can you don't even read the rest of it. You're already responding, sure, what do you need? And when do you need it by? And then you realize you didn't even want to do it. So it's just automatic. You just keep going and keep going and keep going. And knowing something needs to change and you keep doing the same thing. You know you can't keep going on like this. You know that this level of exhaustion, this level of maybe frustration, this level of overwhelm, never getting to feel you've actually accomplished anything. You know that can't keep going on. However, it doesn't change. We'll start Monday. Sunday night, I'll start Sunday night. You come up with this plan. This week, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do that. And by Wednesday, you're right back in there. It's not that you're not disciplined enough to stop. It's not that you're not capable. It's not that you don't know. If you're high achieving, you know all the productivity hacks. You know how to research things. You know how to incorporate new skills. You know how to do all these things. It's not that you're not disciplined enough. It's not that you're weak. Oh, I keep saying yes because I just can't say no to people. For some people, that's true, but not all of us. We've got something else going on underneath. But before we can even know what it is that's driving us underneath, is it a value? Is it a concern of, is it a piece of our identity? What is it that's driving underneath? Before we can even get there, we have to recognize what is all of the other things on top of it. So again, I come back to that question. Are you living your life, making choices, showing up the way you want to? And I'm not even talking about feeling rested because different phases of our life don't have that. But are you able to actually let go of the day before, step into a new day? Or are you just managing it from a distance, just keeping things going, keeping your head above water, just treading, just keeping moving? So I'm curious of some of those examples I got. And if you have your own, please. I'm curious which of those maybe hit for you. Which one's like, yeah, that kind of sounds like me. And maybe it's just simple things. Do you feel perpetually run down? And you know it's not a physical situation. You're not dealing with a medical need. Do you perpetually feel run down? Do you perpetually feel misunderstood? Do you perpetually feel like you're the one who has to? If you don't take care of it, then what happens? Do you feel like you're constantly, I used to use the adage, it feels like my foot's nailed to the floor and I'm being told to dance. Do you feel like you're not really living life? You're maintaining through it, but you're not living it. And nothing seems to fix this. No matter what you've done, you still keep feeling this way. So keep in mind, again, this isn't a personality issue. This isn't you're not disciplined. This isn't you're weak. This isn't you haven't tried hard enough. It's a behavior and a pattern that we've developed for a variety of reasons. Some good, some bad, not bad. Some good, some survival ways. And that's where this comes up is I want you to think about this. This is a habit. This is a habit, a pattern, a behavior we've built that help build our career. That is the reason people trust you and come to you. Is the reason you get results. It's the reason you get things done. And it never turns off. There used to be a dial. You used to be able to turn it up and turn it down. The dial broke. You can only turn a dial so many times before they break. And it broke. It is stuck. It was here, then it came up a little, then it came up a little, and then you could bring it down, and then you could go up and then go down. And then something happened. It kept going up. Maybe you got more responsibility at work and it kept going up. And maybe you got married and then it went up and then you had kids. And then you went up and you got the new position. You got a different position at work, more, and now you have a team to oversee. And you used to be able to bring it back down, but now it just stays up and it drains you and it takes everything. But if you bring it down from here, what could happen? And what's holding it up there? Yes, it's a broken knob, but and none of the other things fix the knob for you to lower or try to or have choice for it to move, being more responsible, being less responsible, being more engaged, being less engaged, being vigilant, being less vigilant. Nothing you've tried is fixing that knob, and you are sitting up here and you are surviving. You're not living. You're keeping your head. The way I used to describe it for me is it felt like I was keeping my head just barely above water. And sometimes it still does. You're just keeping your head just above water. And at any given time, you're going to stop treading like that duck, it feels like, and you're going to sink. Or someone's going to see through what you're doing and you're going to fall. So I want you to think it's the same thing we've been talking about. It's not that you don't know something needs to change. I'm going to guess this isn't where you want to be. You want to be present with your family. You want to wake up in the morning, be able to step into a new day. You want to come home from work and not be replaying everything in your head. You want to step into things you enjoy and really enjoy them and feel them and not just be constantly thinking. But it's the thing that you've been using to cope with it that stopped working a while ago. You used to be able to cope and pull it in and set things aside or let things go. And again, you had that dial, you could turn it up and down, and it's not there anymore. So, like I said, this is a subtle, quiet thing that builds and builds and builds. And a lot of times with my clients, when they come to talk to me, it's not that they show up and go, I feel like I'm in survival mode. I need to get out of this. And how can we do it? And what happens? They come and they say, it's just things aren't working anymore for me. I'm tired of being tired. I'm tired of not being able to turn my brain off. I'm tired of not being able to actually be engaged with my family. I'm tired of overthinking. I'm tired of constantly being, I know I'm not the person I used to be. I know my confidence has taken a hit, even if no one else sees it. I know my ability to show up the way I want to. I know my fun-loving side. I know they know all of the things that have changed, but we don't know. They have a hard time putting a name to it. And that's why we're looking at how do we just recognizing what we're going through, what we're feeling, what we're fighting every day. Not necessarily jumping yet to understanding why it's happening. This is about recognizing, like, how are you feeling? If you sat back for a moment and I asked you some questions, what would stand out to you? And if things are working, that's awesome. And you're okay with where you're at, that's great. But if you're sitting back and it's like, this just doesn't work for me anymore, I don't like this. I don't like that my brain is constantly spinning. I don't like I'm replaying conversations. I used to be able to do what I needed to and set it aside. That's what we're focusing on today. So, if I'm trying to think for a moment, I just want you to recognize where you are. And you're listening to this for a reason. Because this wouldn't have resonated with you if you had a clear picture of what the challenge was, why it's happening, or what's causing it to happen, and how you're going to take, and you've addressed the underlying issues and the challenges, and you're moving on. Or it's not bothering you. Living this way is okay. If you're listening to this, something isn't working. And for some of my clients, when we start talking, well, it's just life. And then they start to realize people are talking to me and I'm not even hearing them. I used to love to read. I haven't read and I can't tell you how long. I used to enjoy taking on activities. Now they're just, I just do them because I need to get them done or they're expected. I used to be able to go to work, focus on work, and when I left work, focus on family or focus on my time. It just all blurs together now. And I'm tired of it. I want to have say again. So I want you to take a few minutes. And again, like I said, I'd be curious if I asked you just a couple of questions to think about this. So, since we're talking a lot about identification today, I'm going to shift gears for a moment. And I'm just going to throw out some things and ask you to see what resonates with you. Just listen for a moment and see if anything jumps out at you. So, we've talked about a couple examples. Are you not able to be present? Are you not able to leave things at work? Does yesterday blend into today and blends into tomorrow? There's never a break. Are you looking okay on the outside and on the inside, feeling depleted, worn down, overthinking? So I'm going to organize this a little bit more, and I want you to think about this. I'm going to give you a couple of things and see if anything resonates. And if none of it resonates, it's okay. But I'm curious if you think about it. Another part to this is when you do take a break, do you feel like you have to earn it? Do you feel like if you haven't done enough, if the list isn't clear, if you don't do everything you're supposed to, you can't stop for a moment? If there's still laundry on the laundry room floor, are you not allowed to stop? Or are you given permission to take a break once that's cleared? Are you too run down to keep going? It feels like one more thing. But you're so wired because your brain keeps saying we have to that you can't stop. Or your body finally gives out and you sit down and your mind just keeps going and going. And the TV's on, you haven't heard it. Your spouse is talking to you, you don't know what they said. On another side of that, is that over responsibility running this too? And we've talked about over responsibility before. Are you rehearsing what ifs through your mind constantly? What if I'm not the one who packs for everybody to go on vacation? What if I don't prepare for that enough? Okay, tomorrow I'm talking to so and so, and I need to say, and I need to say, because preparation's good. But again, did that knob break? Did preparation go from, hey, I want to be prepared for the meeting to, oh my gosh, and you keep thinking and thinking and thinking about it, just even every conversation. Do you walk into a room and absorb how everyone else is feeling and then feel you need to balance for that? When something goes wrong, do you feel like you're the first one who has to fix it? Jump in and take care of it. Do you anticipate what everyone around you needs before they even ask? And do you even know what you need anymore? Think about this. And then we've been talking about the inside and the outside. Do you feel like you're from the outside? Looks like you're handling it all. On the inside, you're managing to just wake up, get dressed, and go do what you need to. You're in the room, but you're not really there. You're always somewhere else, tracking, managing, anticipating, planning. You could be in a room of 100 people, you could be in a room of just you, but you're not even really in that room. You're in all the other places of things that need done. You're waiting for things to slow down before you can enjoy what's right in front of you. You've lost touch, like I said. Do you even know what you want anymore? So, those are some things I just want you to think about because today isn't about fixing it. Today isn't about, okay, now what do I do? What are you offering? Today I'm offering you some insights as to how you've been feeling, what's and just to give some descriptions, wording to what's going on. And a lot of times when my clients share these things, a lot of times when I'm feeling these ways or these things are happening to me and my clients, we both have said, I just feel like I'm surviving. That's all I have in me to do. That's all I've got. And is just surviving enough for you? And if it is, okay. I get it. We all are at different places with what we're ready for. But if surviving isn't enough anymore, all I'm going to ask for you to do right now is just start to recognize it. Start recognizing and really engaging with how are you feeling? What are you thinking? Is where you're at right now? Is it okay? And is this where how you want to be living? And there's no judgment in that because sometimes we're not ready to take on more. Survival is where we're at, and that's where that's just enough for right now. But if you're beyond survival and you're like, all these things are standing out and I'm done with this, starting to recognize it, starting to call it out, starting to just by recognizing what it is all we're going to do today. That's it. So, and so this is where we take our first initial step. We start recognizing this isn't how I want to live anymore. This is how I'm living. That's the first step, actually. This is how I'm living. The next step is I don't want to live like this anymore. And if that's something that came up for you while you were here, and you want to do a little bit more research or a little more learning or something, please, I have a ton of resources um, on my website. There's a lot of blogs and things that could give you some insights right now to get you started. And you are more than welcome to reach out to me. And I support a lot of people through coaching through this. That's not where I'm pushing you to. I'm pushing you to help you connect with what's really going on, recognize what you're feeling, because something starts to shift when we can identify what's been bubbling underneath the surface. When we can give it a description, when we can say, yeah, that's how I'm feeling. Yes, I can put words to it for right now, where before I just knew I felt, blah. That's not a technical term. Something shifts when you can finally name what's been bothering you, what's driving under, what's how you're feeling and what's happening, and recognizing you're just surviving. You're not living. You're managing, you're keeping your head above water, whatever you want to describe it as. If you're interested in exploring more, like I said, there's blogs, there's resources. I'll share stuff in the comments for you to learn more or to connect more. But if this is really resonating with you and you'd like to talk, please feel free to send me a message or set up a time for us to talk. And we can even just begin by seeing where you're at. Please feel free to share in the comments since I didn't get to do this live. What about this is resonating for you? What made you finally go, oh my gosh, yes, that sounds like it? So I'm going to wrap this up by just saying that you're not alone in this. And that's a huge part. There are so many people I work with, myself included, who go through these seasons of life, who have been going through these seasons for a year, maybe 20 years. But at some point, many of us get to a point that this isn't where how we want to continue. And that's okay. And sometimes we can't get it out of excuse me, sometimes we can't get out of it on our own because we keep swirling in the same space in here. Or we just don't feel we can be blatantly open because our loved ones are there and they love us and they care about us. When we tell them, sometimes it can turn into, well, you're feeling that way, I'm feeling this way. Or, well, at least you have a family to drive you crazy, or at least you have, and it gets silver lined, and we're like, yeah, it's still, or, well, I don't understand why you can't just recognize all the good things that are happening in life. Look at the position you have, look at the family you have, look at the things you get to do. Sometimes that's not enough. Sometimes we need to find a way to take control back of our feelings, our thoughts, what's happening. And we can only do that sometimes by digging deeper, examining what's going on, and figuring out how to shift our perspective, our thinking, so we can reclaim who we are. That person who can be present, that person who can turn things off, that person who can leave work at work, that person who is confident. And sometimes we can do that on our own, and sometimes we can't. And that's okay. So my hope is this has given you some things to think about. My hope is that if this is something you're experiencing and going through, this is something you can start to connect with, start to recognize, start to call it out. Because when we can call things out and recognize it, it doesn't have the power it did before. Because you didn't get here from being weak. Because if you were weak, you would have cracked a really long time ago. And you can keep going this way. You've proven you're strong. You've proven you're resilient. You're proven you can keep going. And you can. The question is, do you want to? And that's just something to play with right now. What's going on in you? How are you feeling? And is this something you want to do something about? And all of the answers, whatever they are okay. So, as I shared, I am Lindsay Pfister-Kerr with LPK Coaching. I will share some links to this month's blog to give you some more depth in this. And I am here if I can support you or this is something you'd like to talk through more. So, I look forward to connecting with you all and being a support for you. And have a great rest of your day and take care.